Nice. H.
Ragnarok fans, all I'm going to say is we are feasting this chapter. One of the best chapters in a long time, straight action-packed, giving me the vibes of round 4. You know what it is with that Jack and Hercules. I told you guys, you can check my prior videos for the receipts. This fight being in a custom stage, the author having an invested interest in Okita Tsuji with his prequel manga. This is going to be one of the best fights in the series. I don't want to jump the gun. It's just one chapter. But if this chapter is any indication on what's to come, we are in for a hell of a ride, bro. And I am all for it. With that being said, if you like the Record of Ragnarok content on the channel, hit that subscribe button for me. It really helps out the channel, pushes the video out to more people, especially if you guys like it as well. I appreciate all the support. Thanks. Without further ado, let's get into it. Chapter starts off right where we left off, with the face-off in the alleyway. Okita is the first one to make a move. He goes after him, and the gods side of the crowd are saying, that human's eyes, they are red, right? They're scaring the hell out of me. Okita's boys say he seems to be going all out from the start. It's been a while since we've seen Tsuji fight to the death without that disease, his tuberculosis. That's right, I'm getting so hyped, I'm getting goosebumps. Other humans are saying, that little dude's humanity's strongest manslayer? Not gonna lie, it looks like a kid to me. And when Kondo hears that, he just chuckles under his breath and thinks to himself, show them, Tsuji. Show them why you, Okita Tsuji, are truly the best. The strongest swordsman of the Bakumatsu, and the reason why so many fear your name. Now notice how it says the strongest swordsman of the Bakumatsu, and they keep calling him the strongest manslayer. Sasuke not a manslayer, not from the Bakumatsu, just saying. We move forward, Okita lunges at Susanoo, who stays stationary. We finally get a shot of Ares, Zeus, and Hermes. They're all watching from their spot, but don't forget it got destroyed, so they're sitting on this like little carpet rug, just watching on the monitors. Ares says he's underestimating that godly opponent too much. This will end in an instant, so of course he's known for being wrong. As Okita is rushing towards Susanoo, he goes invisible. If you guys watched my video on the lore and backstory of Okita Tsuji from his prequel, you'll know this technique, his Kami speed technique where he can go invisible. He goes invisible, and Susanoo is a little bit shocked. At the last second, Susanoo perceives Okita's movement and dodges out of the way of the attack, and then Okita swings again, and Susanoo barely gets out of the way. Okita doesn't let up for an instant, goes invisible again, jumps at Susanoo. This time Susanoo has to block. Susanoo says, nice one. He's smiling ear to ear as he blocks, and Okita stares into his soul. This is one of the craziest, I'm telling you, this fight is fucking amazing, because there's not even that much talking in the interactions. Okita is straight up on demon time, and he reminds me of like a fucking puma, a panther, like a straight up jungle cat that's just like on the prowl, bro. I swear. Susanoo says, you're faster than I assumed you'd be. You're so rough, I didn't even have time to pull out my sword, because don't forget, his sword is underneath the wrapping, the seat. He pushes Okita back off him, gets him away from him. He tries swinging his sword still in its seat at Okita. Okita dodges out of the way, but this time jumps into the air, jumps off of Susanoo's own kneecap, and launches down an attack straight at Susanoo. And Susanoo's reaction speed is fucking amazing. Like, when you look at this panel right here, how the hell does he react to this attack? Because you're seeing Okita's speed firsthand, and he reacts, blocks the attack last second. He kicks Okita back, says, just like I expected, Tenin Rishin Ryu is the strongest when it comes to close quarters combat. He knocks Okita back again. This time, Okita fucking flies onto the damn roof. Goes onto the roof, face looks incredible. The red lightning coming out of his eyes, the aura is amazing, and the aura is explained this chapter, and I actually loved what they did with it, but we'll get to that in a second. He goes invisible again. This is the third or fourth time he goes invisible. This time he's scaling the buildings, jumping from building to building. Susanoo's perceiving it in the air. This is amazing. He gets behind Susanoo, jumps down. Susanoo barely fucking evades this attack. Okita is getting closer and closer with each attack. Susanoo's wobbled back, knocks back, reeling. Okita rushes around him, leaving after images around Susanoo. Susanoo's struggling to perceive it. He says, indeed, this is fun, because in the last one, when that panel was up of Okita's eyes, he said, this is fun, isn't it? They're truly enjoying this fight. I love it. Ares says, what even is that speed? And in prime Hermes fashion, he's able to perceive all this movement. He doesn't think it's that impressive. He's like, it's not only about his speed. Each and every one of those slashes, they're packing so much power they can cleave his enemy in half. And this is a god, mind you. And even Zeus says, what a terrifying killer instinct. Susanoo says, that's the demon child Okita Tsuji. Now, this is where the aura is explained. The red eyes are manifested by Okita Tsuji when he reaches a state of extreme excitement. It's called Onigo, the Demon Child technique. So this is a spin on like the Onigo technique he used in that manga, where he ends up sending 3 times the amount of normal blood flow through his heart, and all the cells in his body awaken. So you guys should have watched that video. And if you want to go watch that video after this, you can see I talked about all the techniques, and if there's more, which I'm forgetting maybe, they'll be in that video as well. Those eyes burning red are a testament to the rapid combustion of his life. Thanks to that, it becomes possible to exercise physical capabilities beyond the limitations of humanity. This dude is fucking awesome, and using the Onigo technique from the start is crazy, because I was thinking that this was going to be his amp later on. He's already using it off rip. There's no bullshit, no waiting. He lunges at Susanoo. Susanoo again dodges. He's not been able to land one hit on Susanoo even after barraging him with all these shots. But this time when Susanoo dodges, he looks at Okita and sees this next one is going to be legit. His eyes and his smile fades. All of Okita's boys in the crowd, including Kondo, get hyped. They say it's coming. Here it comes. Okita's special move. Go for it. Okita screams out, "Here I come," and goes after Susanoo with his patented 3-pronged thrust San Denzuki, which is exactly what its name is, a 3-pronged thrust. He goes up top, to the middle, and down low, and Susanoo is getting pushed back but remains able to block every single one of the attacks. But the final one that he barely blocks breaks the sheath on the sword, and when the sheath breaks, Susanoo's eyes go full white. The pupils are gone. Heimdall says Okita's deadly technique, 3 stages thrust, was stopped by Susanoo at the last moment. He's screaming. Okita's boys are shocked that Susanoo was able to counter and block these attacks. They say, "Are you for real? He stopped all 3 thrusts on his first try? I thought Okita would settle it with that." Again, another technique I mentioned in that video, but I love that they're getting all those techniques out of the way. He's paying homage to his first manga, and it tells us that there's more to come, which is amazing. New things that weren't even in that manga are going to be on the way, probably. Susanoo says, "So that's the godly speed of the 3-stage thrust. That's insane, dude. Don't you agree?" Ares is shocked as always. He says, "He stopped the attack, but I heard an unpleasant sound. Do you guys think that his sacred treasure broke?" And Hermes says, "Nope. What was destroyed was his sheath." And now we finally get the reveal of Susanoo's beautiful fucking blade, the majestic sword, one of heaven's supreme sacred treasures, Ame no Murakumo no Sarugi, heavenly sword of gathering clouds. Supreme sacred treasures, so this is one of the best sacred treasures in the heavens, and we're going to expound upon that in a second here. Heimdall says Susanoo finally draws his sword, Ame no Murakumo. As he says this, some of the scholars in the crowd from Humanity are like, this can't be the case. No matter how you look at it, that's a katana. Ame no Murakumo is supposed to look completely different from the stories from Japanese history. Another one of the scholars says the curvature of that blade pattern, I just can't get enough of it. And then we cut to these random blacksmiths who are supposed to be these swordsmiths. They're of renown, probably butchering the names, but Uki Yatsuna, Sanjo Funachika, and Awataguchi Kunasuna. And these 3 are humans that worked on the blade, but they're not the only ones who worked on the blade. 2 deities worked on this blade alongside humanity. The 2 deities are the goddess of blacksmithing, Kana-Yogo. I'd assume she's from Japanese mythology, but I'm not sure. But her design is cool. We really rarely ever get to see goddess designs. We didn't get to see Artemis last fight, which I wanted, but we get to see her. She's got a great design. And Hephaestus, Greek god of blacksmithing and fire. He looks pretty cool. He's super buff. He's got this kind of interesting hair design, but don't forget he's Aphrodite's husband too. So hopefully we get some dialogue there. But Kana-Yogo says, "Ho ho, that's what I would expect looking at the sword. After all, as a blacksmith, I melted the legendary sacred sword, Ame no Murakumo." Hephaestus says, "A union of blacksmiths gathered by gods and humans respectively poured the best of their skills into the forging of a new sword. That's why it's the ultimate sword." Heimdall says, "Amazing, that's some unbelievable information. You're saying that sword wielded by Susanoo is a collaboration between both gods and humans." This is really cool because Susanoo obviously has a ton of admiration for Okita as a human, which is a lot of humility for a god. And it's further expounded upon by the fact that he allowed humans to work on his blade. Susanoo says, "It's a shame that I couldn't give it an introduction far more glorious than that." Talking about the blade. And Okita's even acknowledging at this point. He's got a smile on his face. He's like, "That sword is really nice." Susanoo gets all eccentric at this point and says, right. This rounded handwriting, this majestic blade, can someone even resist it? Throughout heaven and earth, this is the greatest sword. I named it Onigiri Ame no Murakumo. So we changed the name because it's you know, it's an upgrade. Heavenly Demon Slaying Sword of the Gathering Clouds. Fucking amazing. I love the throughout heaven and earth thing. Shout out to Buddha, shout out to Gojo. This man Susanoo is him. I love his character and he's a straight monster. Susanoo says, I never thought the day would come when I would use this. It's the only sword fit to slay the demon child, with an epic panel of the sword. Beautiful katana this is. We cut to Sasuke and Musashi, two of the greatest swordsmen. They're calling it amazing. Sasuke says he's surprised to think that humans and gods would work together to transform a sword into a katana. And Wrist, Sasuke's Valkyrie, says this is absurd. For a sacred treasure to be upgraded, this is insane. Like, this is unheard of, so to speak. Lord Susanoo has exceeded my expectations. So the first time we've heard of a sacred treasure that was already established being upgraded to a new level. This could be one of the strongest sacred treasures of all time in this series. That's what they meant when they called it supreme. She finishes up with, he really is unusual. Susanoo says, well, time to make this sword live up to its hype. And he gets prepared. He goes into a stance, and it was nothing out of the ordinary. The crowd was confused. They're like, all that, and he's just doing this basic ass stance, like what's going on? And then all of a sudden it hits everyone. That's not the case. These swordsmen start spouting off stances that they recognize. One says the Oxbull stance. No, actually it's Albert the Fool stance. No, actually it looks like Hasao no Kame, the 8 direction stance. And it just keeps going on and on. One even says it's Spanish swordsmanship. And this is the constant. They keep seeing all these different sword stances because this technique that Susanoo is doing isn't any of them. It's all of them together. The crowd can't figure out why there's so many different opinions just from that stance, and he's not moving a muscle. As the swordsmen were all shaken by the sight of the stance, the first to notice something unusual was Okita. And when Okita notices what's really going on, his smile fades and he is shook as hell. He's sweating. This man knows he's in for a fucking war. Without a moment's delay, Sasuke and Musashi pick up on it, as well as Okita's crew, Shinsengumi. They understand the truth of what's really happening here. Sasuke says, that guy, he's amazing. Musashi says, so that's the stance of the sword god Susanoo. Wrist doesn't know what's going on. She's like, what's up with you guys? Isn't he just standing there normally? Like, what's the big deal? And Sasuke says, no, the pinnacle of the sword, no, those who aspire to it should be able to see it. That stance is every single one of them. That's right. Beyond the Seigan, godly myriad, and it is this fucking epic panel of Susanoo, jacked as hell with every sword technique behind him with the white demon eyes. He is a monster. And Susanoo looks Okita in his soul and says, if you're truly Okita Tsuji, you can see it, can't you? In Okita's eyes, they got those Puma eyes. He knows what it is. Susanoo says, what I wield now are all the swords. Show me everything you got, Okita Tsuji. Like a god dwelling in all creation, every single stance was there. What a chapter. Fucking epic if you ask me. I love this chapter. One of the hypest chapters in a long time, dude. Like, you want to talk about combat, man? We didn't have any combat sequence anywhere close to this in probably the last 3 rounds. Just straight action, 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 multiple attacks, little to no talking. This is shaping up to be one of the best fights of all time. I'm telling you right away from the beginning. I hope it lives up to the hype, man. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown review. More videos will be coming out soon talking about it. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the Record of Ragnarok content. I will see you guys in the next one. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like for me, it helps. And let me know what you guys think about this epic chapter. Peace.